Hi, Dr. Paul Haider here. Well, purpose is extremely important. You know, I find a lot of people these days don't really have a purpose. They just kind of go floating from one day to the next. And some people say, well, just living is enough purpose. I would contest that because a lot of people without, having a purpose, they don't feel good inside. There's nothing that uplifts them and that makes them feel excited about getting up in the morning. And a lot of these people who end up doing terrible things or hurting themselves or hurting somebody just before they hurt themselves actually have no purpose in life whatsoever. And I think that's one of the major problems that we have in the world is having a true purpose, is a true reason for getting up in the morning. I was in India a few years ago, and a little old cobbler in a sod hut. He got out and would praise God that he was alive, and all we did was make shoes, and he had nothing, absolutely nothing, but his purpose was to, you know, love God, and I think that's something that we should take advantage of and understand exactly where his joy was coming from. He got up in the morning and he was joyful. And we get a lot of people in this world that, they get up in the morning and they have everything. They have TVs, they have, running water, they have bathrooms, they have internet, they have, computers and all this stuff, but they're not happy. And I think that happiness comes from the inside out instead of from the outside in. I have to say mine does for sure because I've tried finding happiness out in the world and it never did help me whatsoever. Yeah, it's always fleeting. You eat the popcorn and it's down to the last little bit at the bottom of the the bag, and it's gone. And so that little bit of fleeting joy is gone. Or, you get the new car and it, revs up really fast and it smells new, but 3 or 4 months later, it's just a car. So that real joy, that real state of understanding and being and wanting to make a difference in the people's lives comes from deep down inside. And I find that when people really connect to something more important than them, connect to something higher than them, and they have a purpose in life, that they feel happy about their lives. And I've met people who do things for free and they feel joyous about being alive. And it was a man who was a beggar, and actually, well, it's not easy. We're here right in Puerto Rico right now, and there was a man who was here, and we were going to give him some money, and he looks at us and he says, "You know what? Things aren't easy here right now. You keep it." And then you have the millionaires and billionaires, and you ask them, if you could send some money to help these poor people. We have people right now that are coming down with leprosy because they have terrible water to drink, and which is terrible. And you ask some of these people with lots of money, and they say, "No, we gave other ways." Very interesting. But when you find true happiness from inside out, and then there's really no comparing that to any kind of monetary uplifting of any kind. You could have millions of dollars and not feel happy whatsoever. In fact, I knew one of the richest men in the world, and he was not happy at all because his brother got a new big yacht. It was 128 feet long, and he only had a 67-footer, and on and on and on. I was like, oh boy. Okay. So it's all about where do you find your joy at? Do you find it out there, or do you find it in here? And I think that's really important, and that's where meditation comes in. And you, even in the darkest of times, can find that joy deep down inside. And then that stillness that fills your heart and fills your being and your whole body with ecstasy and bliss, even when things are terrible. And when we look to something which is supernatural instead of being natural, in a way that goes beyond what we see in this, dream of the human existence, then we find something really precious. And we understand that this is a learning lesson process. And we start to expand our awareness of the expression that's on the other side of the veil. And we understand that, there are beings there and we're being put through challenges to see how we react and see how we find our way through the different steps of learning with the mansions in thy father's house. And every single avatar that has ever come, whether it be Jesus or Buddha or Krishna or Sai Baba or Divine Mother Amma or many others have come. Saint Francis of Assisi, Saint Ignacio, so many others have always talked about the fact that there are many different steps in learning. Even the soul, once it passes over into cross the veil, there's learning steps to achieve different aspects of a hierarchy of understanding. And when we achieve that hierarchy of understanding, we move to a higher state of vibration. And that higher state of vibration allows us to move to higher consciousness. And that's what, the great avatars did. They moved to a higher consciousness. And they understood the great understanding of the great matrix that was going on around us. And so when they saw different things happening, they didn't get upset. Once in a while they would, of course, but on the average they didn't, because they knew that something great was going to come out of this no matter what. Sometimes bad things happen to people, but in the end, maybe 5 years later, 10 years later, something great happened because of that. And we have to, of course, have understanding and compassion for that person that just had something terrible happen to them. At the same time, we have to understand that there are great things coming yet. And we allow ourselves to move to a higher plane of consciousness. And when we can step outside of ourselves and look at the situation from a third-party perspective, that allows us to grow as people. I think that comes from being able to contemplate, and what is contemplation? Well, contemplation is to take the end of our day and look at our life from the third-party perspective and see, how could I have done that better? Or what great things happened today? Or what could have maybe been made better if I did it a different way? And that's truly contemplating our life. And where meditation is actually, have pictures of my brain scans on meditation, it's actually pretty flat. There's the EEG is not moving anywhere, and we're giving the brain a rest, and it actually allows the brain to get thicker and actually get more convolutions of the prefrontal cortex. And so instead of getting our brain smaller as we age, we actually get a bigger brain. So, and we also find that the amygdala, which is the emotional part of our brain, actually calms down, and the hypothalamus calms down so that we don't go into fits of rage and anger. And we do get into these fits of rage and anger on a regular basis. It actually starts a back loop to feed itself. We get more hormones moving, and those make the amygdala go crazy more, and that starts a cycle that goes on and on and on. And so when we do meditation, all that settles down. And meditations have been talked about for thousands upon thousands of years, whether it be Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, even in Christian monks do meditation, like in the Mount Athos, the Greek Orthodox monks there do lots of hours of meditation. So I think it's really important that we look at what's going on in our life and be able to contemplate what we have going on, and from a third-party perspective, and also to quiet our mind. And it's different from just being in nature. Now, nature is good also. Nature is great. That is also very peaceful. but it doesn't shut down the brain to have repair go on like it does with meditation. And meditation is the great appeasement for the brain, so that we just don't go into that place of, you know, anxiety all the time. And a lot of the people in the world right now have huge amounts of anxiety, let me tell you. But if we allow ourselves to find that great state of peace twice a day, and I recommend at least 45 minutes. Well, with what we got going on in the world, at least 45 minutes twice a day. First thing in the morning and around 4 to 6 o'clock in the evening, and to order to keep the anxiety under control, in order to find peace deep down inside, in order to find bliss, in order to find a great change of loving kindness within us, so that we find peace every single moment that we are alive. And we can do this, there's no doubt about this. I find that people could do this every single day that they are alive. All they have to do is sit down and make a habit of sitting and meditating. Now, if you don't know how to meditate, I recommend you do a Vipassana meditation retreat, which is totally free. Even the food and lodging is free. That's Vipassana. Vipassana. Vipassana, free. Look up free Vipassana meditation retreat. Or take a TM course, or Transcendental Meditation course. That's 4 nights. That you have to pay for, but it's well worth the money. And it's just 4 evenings. I think it's 2 or 3 hours each evening, and you learn meditation. But it's the practice that makes it perfect. You know, I've been doing it for over 30 years, and I'm just a beginner. And so you have to put in the time. And I know a lot of people go, oh, that's just a waste of time. That's really not important. I mean, I have bigger and more important things to do. Well, you know what? I know millionaires and billionaires who meditate every single day. If you want to watch a great movie on meditation, go to Netflix and watch On Meditation. That's O-N Meditation. On Meditation. Great. You'll see a lot of millionaires, billionaires, famous directors, and different people who meditate every single day. And it's what made them great, because, you know, a lot of these great directors, they would say, everybody comes to the set, they're all high anxiety and everything, and I walk in and the peace shifts. And so a whole different thing changed is when I walk on the set. And so, a guy who's a millionaire, he walks into his office and he sets the tone for the day because he has this great peace with him. And a lot of different groups of people around the world meditate, and I think that a lot of different societal groups also. I saw one movie about the black communities and some of the bigger inner cities who are teaching meditation, and I think that's really great. And I think we, in every group, in every society, we need to teach meditation. This has nothing really to do with religion. It has to do with quieting the mind. We don't know how to do that these days. We are going 24/7, and TV, and, you know, we're running around like crazy, and we think that that's a normal process in life, but it's not. We were not really made to do the crazy running around that we've been doing. And so I highly recommend, highly recommend that you learn meditation. And I promise, if you stick with it and you put in the time every single day, twice a day, that you will have great things happen to you. I've had a man with obsessive compulsive disorder just disappear with meditation. I had a man with anxiety all his life disappear with meditation. I have a man that his life just wasn't going right, and he started doing meditation, and things started moving in the right direction. So if you really want to make a change in your life, if you really want to see a positive change that will redirect your life in a new way, I highly recommend that you learn meditation. Meditation is very simple. Basically, it's just sitting and concentrating on the breath coming in and out and in and out. And if A word comes in, some thoughts come in, just say, I see that, but not now. Going back to the breath, in and out, in and out. It takes practice, you know. That's not something that happens. The mind wants to run around like a crazy thing. Or you can also do a mantra. You know, a mantra is just a word you say over and over and over again. I don't care what word it is. It could be you know, Sai Baba, or it could be Mother Mary, it could be anything, a Sanskrit word, or it could be, you know, anything. The word one, as one of the great doctors talks about, just saying the word one as the one and number one over and over again until it just appears and doesn't mean anything, and that can also be a great meditation. So allow yourself to learn meditation. Allow yourself to find peace, even in the darkest of times. You can overcome everything. You can build yourself up even in the middle of craziness. You can actually allow yourselves to find what you really want, which is peace on the inside, contentment, bliss. And the rest will be attracted to you by this great peace that you have around you. And it'll just come. I've seen them over and over and over again. But if we allow the world's anxiety to take over, it can't. So please learn meditation. Please find that inner peace and allow yourselves to know that everything can be perfect in your life if you find happiness from the inside out. I love you. Also, if you care to make a donation, I really greatly appreciate that. We have a lot of people in dire shape here in Puerto Rico, and we're taking and giving food and water and diapers and different things to people, and especially water. Water is direly needed. If you care to subscribe, we greatly appreciate that. You can click that down below. Also, if you want to get a hold of me, all my consultations are free. And I want to apologize for not being able to put out more videos right now. And, it's a little difficult. Our solar system is down, and we're running an inverter off the car. And so then we have to go find internet somewhere so I can upload the video. And it's a little complicated. So please bear with me, and I will be getting back to my normal state of writing articles 4 days a week, 5 days a week actually, and putting out videos more often. So have a wonderful, wonderful day. I love you.